Welcome back. We do have a news alert this morning. An appeals court did temporarily block a restraining order directing President Trump to return control of the National Guard to California. The order was set to go into effect today at noon. It will not happen. It says the deployment was illegal, violating the 10th Amendment. The Guard will be allowed to continue its deployment until at least Tuesday, when the appeals court will hold a hearing. So the judge's ruling from San Francisco has essentially been denied or put on hold. The host of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream, joining us live to preview this week's show. Oh my gosh, Shannon, you have a lot to talk about on Sunday morning, don't you?
We do, Amy. I mean, the riots, that ruling that you're talking about there, the National Guards, we're told that we could expect up to 1,500 different No Kings demonstrations against the president and his policies in these ICE enforcement actions all across the country. We've got a huge military parade here, the 250th birthday of the Army here in Washington. Also happens to be the president's birthday. A lot of critics who do not love the optics of that. And I'm sure that we'll have protests here, as we do just about every day in D.C.
Right. Yeah. We were talking to Doug earlier, and he said, you know, lots of roads are closed down, and security is extremely high in D.C., and I'm sure even more heightened, I imagine, because of the tensions in the Middle East and all the embassies there in the city.
Yeah, exactly, because it's just been an ongoing problem. It was just a couple of weeks ago that we had two young people who were Israeli staffers at the embassy who were gunned down, murdered just a couple of blocks from here in downtown D.C. So tensions are high on any number of fronts, and we've got all the domestic issues too. I mean, the fights over the big, beautiful bill and whether that gets passed and who gets funded and what gets cut. So it is not the most agreeable place here in Washington. This weekend, I think, could be very interesting, but we'll track it all for you.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about. One of the more interesting things that Trey Yingst talked about overnight was basically how Israel, it sounds like, maybe had some spies that had infiltrated into Iran and were able to sort of organize some things behind the scene to make this attack more effective.
Yeah, their intel and Mossad operations are, you know, scoring win after win these days. Think about what they did to decimate Hezbollah and Hamas, that leadership, what they pulled off there. And Israel basically said, this was our window. We have really hurt a lot of these proxies that Iran is using to come after us and other interests for democracies in the Middle East. And they said also, this report from the UN watchdog this week said, for the first time formally, that Iran is not abiding by the deal with regard to their enrichment. So Israel said, this was our window. We said we'd never let them get a nuclear weapon, and there was no time left. We had to act.
Wow. Let's talk about guests. Shannon, I imagine you have a great lineup on Sunday.
We do. We have got Senator John Thune, who happens to be the Senate Majority Leader. He's responsible for getting that big, beautiful bill done by July. He probably wishes he had till January, but he's got till July 4th. And so there's a lot of inter-party fighting with the GOP. We've also got the top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Jeanne Shaheen. We will talk all things foreign policy with her.
All right. Looking forward to your show, as we always do, Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. Shannon, we hope you have a terrific weekend. Thank you so much. Great to see you.
You too. Thanks, Amy.
Bye.